الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن سيدنا محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل وسلم وبارك على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وآله وصحبه أما بعد. My dear brothers, my dear sisters, my dear children, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Always nice to see so many children during the school holidays are here. Alhamdulillah, we are so lucky that every year in this country we have two great occasions to propagate the message of Islam, and the two occasions are Christmas and Easter. And today I would like to talk about the birth of Prophet Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. Whenever we talk about the birth of Isa alayhi salatu wassalam, we need to remember the creation of Adam, the creation of Eve, the birth of Isaac, the son of Ibrahim and Sarah, the birth of John the Baptist, the son of Zechariah, and we also should refer to the birth of Mary, alayhim as-salatu was-salam jami'an. So it is a religious obligation on all of us to utilize these two occasions and propagate the right and the true message of Islam. We are a minority. When you go back to your homes, whether it's Egypt or Pakistan or Algeria or Nigeria, wherever you came, your ancestors, your parents originated from, you are a majority in most of these countries. You have different responsibilities and duties. We as a minority living in this country, we have responsibilities and duties as well. And one of them is to show people that Islam is a religion of peace, justice, and tolerance. It condemns all violence in its different forms. And we have to live in peace with our neighbors and with the host community. And if some of us, unfortunately, are condemning the country we live in by calling it a kafir country, let me say to them, don't accept any DSS money, don't go to the NHS for treatment, don't send your children to state schools, and so on. You have to respect the country you live in. You have a covenant with the country you live in. Whether you are a British citizen, or you are a resident in this country, or you are a student studying and staying in this country. This is Islam. So let's move now to the story of Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. In the Quran, in two chapters, chapter 3, Ali Imran, the family of Imran, and in chapter 19, Maryam alayhi salatu wassalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the history of the birth of Mary in Surah Ali Imran, followed by the birth of John, and it explains the qualities, the great qualities and attributes of Mary. And in chapter 19, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us about the birth of John, the son of Zechariah, and again the birth of Isa. And it attracted my attention, why did Allah mention the story of John, followed by Isa, Yahya and Isa, and then in Surah Maryam the same. And we'll try to explain the reasons for this. Now let me start with Adam. Now the question is to the children, not to the adults, please. I know that children know better than the adults because they read more now on the internet. Who was Adam's father? Children, who was Adam's father? Can I see a show of hands, please? Yes?
Nobody.
Nobody. Excellent. Excellent. So who was his mother? Yes?
Mary.
Mary? No. Can't be Mary. Yes?
Nobody.
Nobody. Did your father tell you that? Did your father tell you Mary? Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Okay, it's not good. Right. So Adam was created with no father and no mother. It's very interesting. He was created from clay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala breathed into him from his soul and he became a man. So is it possible then that someone can be created with no father? If Adam was created with no father and no mother, is it possible then that someone can be created with no father? Yes? Yes. It's if Allah wills anything, if Allah wants anything to happen, إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. The command of Allah. Whenever He wants to do anything, whenever He wills anything, He will just say to it, be, and it becomes. No problem. There's a very similar verse in Luke, and I must read it to you actually, in the New Testament, in Luke, and the verse is is in chapter 1, 37, verse 37. For nothing is impossible with God. It says this, for nothing is impossible with God. Right. And how did Allah create Eve? No, someone else. You only put your hand up if you know the answer. It's not a matter of okay? So, children from this side. How was Eve created? Who knows? Children, can I see? No? No one knows here? Okay. This side? No? Yes, if do you know what you are going to say before you put your hand up? Yes, stand up, then I can see you. Stand up, well done.
From Adam's rib.
From Adam's rib. Excellent, well done. Thank you very much indeed. Do you come to this center? Of course. Well done, from Adam's rib. So she had no father and no mother. Yes? So what was difficult in that? Now, these facts are shared by Jews, Muslims, and Christians. Just as simple as that. They are shared by the three faiths. That Adam was created with no father, no mother. And of course, if you ask some people, unfortunately some Muslims as well, who was Adam's father, they say God. No, God cannot have children. It's not befitting to the majesty of God to have a child. God is the creator. One of the attributes of God is Al-Khaliq, and another one Al-Khallaq, the one who creates again and again. So, we are talking about creation of Adam and the creation of Eve. Now, let's move to another story in the Old Testament. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam was ancient, was very old. Extremely old, 100 years old. His wife was very old, and all her life she was barren. Barren in the Quran as a medical condition given to Sarah, the wife of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, who is known as Aqim. And you have to remember the word in Arabic. Please, remember the word in Arabic. Aqim. So the wife of Ibrahim was Aqim. Ibrahim had another wife after Sarah. Who was she? Hajar. Did Ibrahim have any problem in having a child with Hagar? No. What was the name of the child he had? Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. Good. So Ibrahim, in spite of his old age at that time, his wife Hagar was fertile. She was okay, medically fit to have a child. And she had a child. 13 years later, he had another boy. But let me go back to the story of this boy. The angels were traveling on their way to the village of Lut, Sodom and Gomorrah, where the Dead Sea is, that area there, the lowest point on earth. And they stopped at the house of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam. They were men dressed very neatly and cleanly and nicely. And they stopped at the house of Ibrahim. And Ibrahim, being so generous, he and his wife, they offered the guests a calf. They prepared it, cooked it, and brought it to them. But the guests, being angels, did not eat. They did not stretch their hands to eat. Ibrahim was so concerned, he was so worried. فأوجس في نفسه, Ibrahim عليه الصلاة والسلام became so frightened. These are strangers, they don't want to eat my food. It means there is a hostility between us. So they said to him, don't be afraid. we are the messengers of your Lord on our way to Lut's village to destroy them. The wife of Ibrahim was there, and she was so pleased to hear that the angels are in her house. فضحكت. She was so happy. She rejoiced. فبشرناها بإسحاق. We gave her the glad tidings or the good news of Isaac. Ishaq, the son of Ibrahim, who was almost 13 years younger than Ismail. She could not believe the glad tidings. In two narrations in the Quran, one said, أَأَلِدُ وَأَنَا عَجُوزٌ وَهَذَا بَعْلِي شَيْخًا. Am I going to give birth and I'm so old and my husband is so ancient and there are no fertility clinics, there is no GP to prescribe anything for my husband? In another narration, فَصَقَّتْ وَجْهَهَا وَقَالَتْ عَجُوزٌ عَقِيمٌ. I'm very old and I'm aqim, my medical condition. She was so proud. You know, there are certain women who have no inhibition in telling everybody their medical condition. I'm old. Not many women will say I'm old, by the way. They are always 21 plus. Maybe plus VAT as well. So we are talking about a woman who was so open-minded, and she said to the angels, the three men, I'm too old. I'm not only old, I'm also aqim. All my life I was barren, I couldn't have children. So what are you talking about? So the angel said, do you wonder from the command of your Lord? Peace be upon you, the people of the house, Ahl al-Bayt. So she became pregnant and she delivered Ishaq, and they gave her the good news that not only Isaac, you are going to have Jacob, you are also going to have a grandson from this son. The story is in the Old Testament. Very well known story. When we were in the Holy Land a few weeks ago, we stopped at this spot and we saw the place where Ibrahim used to live when we visited his grave, his mosque. And we saw the place where the angels came to deliver the good news to Sarah. So nothing is impossible for God. Now, when we look into the medical condition of the wife of Zechariah, and why did Allah mention the story or the birth of Isa with the birth of John the Baptist? And I want you to remember the word, please. I give this talk once every year. And you must remember the difference. And you must be able to argue with the people of the book with the best ways. According to the Quran, I'm going to start to read now from chapter 5. And I want you to concentrate with me, please, fully. I'll start from chapter 3, Ali Imran. Imran was the father of Maryam. Oh, yes, could you please move forward, everybody, please? Everybody, please, because we have a lot of children today. Yes, and next to each other as well, to keep warm. Imran, alayhi salatu wasalam, was the father of Maryam. He was a descendant from the house of Aaron, Harun, the brother of Musa. The mother of Maryam was also an old woman. And Imran was also an old man. And she did not have children for many years. And she made a vow to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She said, if you give me a child, I'll dedicate that child to serve at the temple in Jerusalem. Now, under the Mosaic law, under the law of Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, under the Jewish law, a girl cannot serve in the temple, only boys. So the woman made a vow, according to the Quran, and we will read now from the beginning of the story what happened. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم verse 33 chapter 3 إن الله اصطفى آدم ونوحا وآل إبراهيم وآل عمران على العالمين. Allah has chosen Adam and Noah and the family of Ibrahim and the family of Imran above all people. That's a statement. This is a statement from Allah. ذرية بعضها من بعض والله سميع عليم. Offspring, one of the other. And Allah hears and knows all things. So, the families which have been chosen are Adam and Noah, the family of Ibrahim and the family of Imran, above all people. And from these people came so many prophets from the lineage of these people. إذ قالت امرأة عمران رب إني نذرت لك ما في بطني محررا فتقبل مني إنك أنت السميع العليم. Behold, the wife of Imran said, O my Lord, I do dedicate unto you what is in my womb for your service or for your special service. So accept this of me, for you hears and knows all things. For you hear and know all things. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of what is in our hearts, in our minds, and even she didn't have to say it loudly, because if she would have just said it to herself, Allah would have known about it. Now the time came when she delivered the baby. And she realized that she delivered a female. Was she upset?
Yes.
Was she upset? No. Why she was not upset? Because she had faith in Allah's plan. And this is a very interesting message to all of us, because some of us, unfortunately, when we have a baby girl, a baby daughter, become very upset because we wanted to have a boy. And some men, they blame their wives for such a thing, and instead of blaming their wife, the lazy wife sperm, they blame the woman, unfortunately. فلما وضعتها قالت رب إني وضعتها أنثى. When she delivered, she said, O my Lord, behold, I am delivered of a female child. والله أعلم بما وضعت. Allah knows best what she brought forth. It is the will of Allah, not her choice. It's the choice of Allah. وَلَيْسَ الذَّكَرُ كَالْأُنثَى. And the male is not like the female. We know this. Prophet ﷺ told us, النساء شقائق الرجال. Women are the sisters of men. They have equal rights and different responsibilities and different duties and different obligations. الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض. Men are the guardians and the protectors of women, because Allah gave some one more strength than the other, and because they spend out of their means. The woman is responsible to carry the baby, breastfeed the baby, and so on. So different responsibilities, but we have equal rights, especially when it comes to religious obligations. How do we apply them? How do we practice them, whether you are a man or a woman? وَإِنِّي سَمَّيْتُهَا مَرْيَمَ. I have called her Mary. وَإِنِّي أُعِيدُهَا بِكَ وَذُرِّيَّتَهَا مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ. This is beautiful. There is a great lesson in here to teach us what should we say whenever we receive a child. I seek refuge with you. I seek your protection. I ask you please to help me to protect her from Satan. And she didn't only say to protect her, but all her offsprings, all her future children. So the invocation covered both Maryam and Isa alayhi salatu wassalam. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in an authentic hadith, he says, when the child is born, he screams because Satan pokes him, except Isa alayhi salam, because of the invocation of his grandmother. Medically, because of the oxygen goes inside and he breathes and so on. But we can also accept what the Prophet ﷺ is saying. This has something to do with Satan being so jealous of a newly born child of Adam. So the grandmother gave her a name on the day. Very interesting. She named her on the day She was born. And she sought the protection of Allah to her and her offspring from Satan. فَتَقَبَّلَهَا رَبُّهَا بِقَبُولٍ حَسَنٍ. Her Lord accepted her graciously. وَأَنْبَتَهَا نَبَاتًا حَسَنًا, and made her to grow in purity and beauty. So beautiful. And I'm going to read these few footnotes here for educational purpose. Now we begin the story of Jesus as a prelude. We have the birth of Mary and the parallel story of John the Baptist, Yahya, the son of Zachariah. Yahya's mother Elizabeth was a cousin of Mary, the mother of Jesus, according to Luke, volume 1, chapter 1, verse 36. And therefore, John and Jesus were cousins by blood, and there was a spiritual cousinhood in their birth and career. Elizabeth was the daughter of Aaron, Luke 1:5, of a priestly family which went back to Aaron, the brother of Moses and son of Imran. Her husband, Zachariah, was actually a priest, and her cousin Mary was presumably also of priestly family. By tradition, Mary's mother was called Hannah, in Latin Anna, and in English Anne, and her father was called Imran. Hannah is therefore both of descendant of the priestly house of Imran and the wife of Imran, a woman of Imran in a double sense. Now, she expected a son who was to be special devotee, a miraculous son of the old age of his parents, but Allah gave her instead a daughter. Was she disappointed that it was a female child? No, for she had faith and she knew that Allah's plan was better than any wishes of hers. Mary was no ordinary girl. Only Allah knew what it was that her mother brought forth. Mary was assigned to the care of Zachariah, and she was allowed to be in the temple. And she was the very first woman to serve in the temple at that time. The main carer was Zachariah, and Zachariah used to visit her regularly into her chamber, where she dedicated herself fully to the service of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And every time he entered the chamber, he found fruit. She was supplied constantly by fruit. In one narration it says, the fruit of the summer used to come to her in the winter, and the winter used to come in the summer, vice versa. But she was continuously supplied with provisions. So Zachariah, as a carer, as a guardian, he had to question her. Where did you get this from? Who entered your room to provide this? So, according to the Quran, وَكَفَّلَهَا زَكَرِيَّا, he was her guardian. كُلَّمَا دَخَلَ عَلَيْهَا زَكَرِيَّا الْمِحْرَابَ وَجَدَ عِنْدَهَا رِزْقًا. Every time Zachariah would enter her chamber, he will find sustenance being supplied to her. He said, يَا مَرْيَمُ, O Mary, أَنَّا لَكِ هَذَا, where did you get this from? قالت هو من عند الله. It is from Allah. إن الله يرزق من يشاء بغير حساب. Allah would provide sustenance to whom He pleases without measure. At this moment, Zachariah alayhi salatu wasalam invoked, the Quran says, هنالك. At that moment, Zachariah invoked Allah, asking Him to give him an heir. He never asked Allah to give him a son, because he knew that he is too old, and the medical condition of his wife was عاقر. There's a big difference between her medical condition and the medical condition of Sarah. What was the medical condition of Sarah? عقيم. And what's the medical condition of عاقر? What does it mean, عاقر? It means she undergone surgery. A knife operated on her. She might have removed her womb, she might have a hysterectomy, whatever. She could not produce children because of a surgery which she had to undergo. In another chapter in the Quran, Allah subhanahu Surah Al-Anbiya, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَأَصْلَحْنَا لَهُ زَوْجَهُ. We repaired his wife for him. Repaired. As if we have restored her womb again. That's a miracle. And that's why the birth of Isa is mentioned immediately after the birth of John, because both of them shared the same miracle. Isa came from a mother who was pure, chaste, and virgin with no father. John came from a mother who had no womb. She could not have children at all, no way. but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala restored it. أصلحنا له زوجة. And the father was too old. In spite of this, both Zachariah and his wife had a child, John the Baptist. I'm going to stop here, and next Friday, inshallah, we'll continue the story. But please, try to utilize this occasion to propagate the true message of Islam regarding Isa alayhi salatu wassalam, that Isa is not the son of God, and God is not one of three, and Isa came with no father from a pure, chaste virgin mother. And remember the birth of Isaac and the creation of Adam and the creation of Eve, to compare all these things together. If we still have Christmas cards outside, please purchase them and give them away. Please, it is for the benefit of our community and the benefit of the non-Muslim in this country. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم.